You're working, you're earning, maybe even saving a little. But at the end of every month, something feels off. The number in your account isn't growing the way you expected, and you can't quite figure out why. You're not going out every night, you're not buying crazy things, you're trying to be responsible. But the wealth you imagined, it still feels far away. Here's the thing nobody tells you. It's usually not one big mistake. It's 15 small ones. Quiet habits, the kind that feel totally normal because everyone around you is doing the same thing, and that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Today, we're going through all 15, not to make you feel bad, but because once you see them clearly, you can actually do something about them. Hi, I'm Rishi, and if even 3 or 4 of these habits feel familiar, that's completely normal. Most people have more than that. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness, because that's where real change starts. Let's get into it. Habit 1. Spending before saving. You get paid. You cover your bills, maybe grab a few things you needed, and then whatever is left, you save. Sounds reasonable, right? The problem is, there's almost never much left, because your brain doesn't save what's left over. It spends it. This is what behavioral economists call present bias. Your brain values today's comfort more than tomorrow's security, and when saving is the last step instead of the first, it almost never happens consistently. The fix is simple but powerful. Pay yourself first. The moment your income arrives, move a fixed amount to savings before anything else. Even if it's small, $50, $100, whatever you can. The habit matters more than the amount right now. Habit 2. Lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, and almost immediately, your life gets a little more expensive. Better apartment, nicer car, more dining out, more subscriptions, more I deserve this moments. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the most invisible wealth killers out there because it feels like progress. You're earning more, so spending more feels logical. But here's the real math. If you earn $500 more per month and spend $500 more per month, your wealth position hasn't changed at all. The Bank of America Institute found that even households earning over $150,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck, not because they earn too little, but because their spending grows as fast as their income. Every raise you get is an opportunity. The question is, does it go to your future or your lifestyle? Habit 3. Having no budget or ignoring the one you made. Let's be real. Most people either don't have a budget, or they made one once, felt good about it, and never actually followed it. A budget isn't a punishment. It's just a plan. It's you telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Research from the National Endowment for Financial Education found that people who budget regularly build wealth at a significantly faster rate than those who don't. Not because they earn more, but because they lose less. You don't need a complicated spreadsheet. Even a simple 3-category system works: needs, wants, savings. The key is looking at it regularly, because a budget you ignore is just a wish list. Habit 4. Carrying high-interest debt and treating it as normal. Here's a quick story. Imagine you invest $300 every month, earning around 8% annually. That's great. Now, imagine you also carry $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest. You're essentially trying to fill a bucket with a massive hole in it. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the average credit card interest rate in recent years has been around 22 to 23%. That's not debt, that's a trap. And the worst part is how normal it feels, because almost everyone around you has it too. High-interest debt doesn't just cost you money, it costs you the investment returns that money could have earned. Pay it off aggressively, before you invest more, before you upgrade anything, because no investment reliably beats 22% guaranteed returns. Habit 5. Not having an emergency fund. This one seems basic, but according to CNBC research, only about 47% of Americans have set aside money specifically for emergencies. That means more than half are one unexpected bill away from going into debt. Car breaks down, medical expense, job loss. Without a cushion, you either go into credit card debt or you pull from investments. Both set you back significantly. An emergency fund isn't an investment. It's protection for your investments. 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting somewhere accessible. Not exciting, but absolutely essential. Habit 6. Impulse buying, especially online. You weren't looking to buy anything. You were just scrolling. And then somehow, something ends up in your cart. And then it's at your door 2 days later. Online shopping is specifically designed to remove every moment of hesitation between I want this and I bought this. One-click checkout, limited time offers, only 3 left in stock. These aren't accidents, they're psychological triggers. Behavioral science calls this friction reduction. The easier a purchase is to make, the less your rational brain gets involved. A simple rule that works. Add it to cart, wait 48 hours. If you still want it and it fits your plan, buy it. Most of the time, you won't think about it again. Habit 7. Comparing your financial life to others. Someone from your school just posted about buying a house. A colleague mentioned their investment portfolio. Someone on Instagram is on their 3rd international trip this year, and suddenly you feel behind. Even if you were perfectly fine 5 minutes ago. This is called social comparison theory. First studied by psychologist Leon Festinger. We evaluate our own progress by comparing it to others. And in the age of social media, you're not comparing yourself to your neighbors anymore. You're comparing yourself to the most financially visible people on the entire internet. That's a race you cannot win, because you're never seeing the full picture. The debt behind the house, the stress behind the portfolio, the credit card behind the vacation. Your only real benchmark is where you were last year. Habit 8. Waiting for the right time to invest. I'll start investing when I have more money. I'll start when things settle down. I'll start after I pay off this one thing. These feel responsible. They're not, because there is no right time, and waiting costs you more than you think. Here's a real number. If you invest $200 a month starting at age 25 at an 8% average return, by age 65, you'd have around $700,000. Wait until 35, same amount, same return, you'd have about $300,000. A 10-year delay costs you $400,000, not because you invested less over those years, but because compounding had less time to work. Time in the market matters more than timing the market. Start small, start now. Habit 9. Treating every subscription like it's small. $9.99 here, $14.99 there, $4.99 for this one you forgot about. Individually, they feel like nothing, but add them up, most people are surprised to find they're spending $150 to $300 a month on subscriptions alone. That's $1,800 to $3,600 a year, and a big chunk of that is services they barely use. This habit works on something called the latte factor, popularized by financial author David Bach. It's not about the coffee, it's about the pattern. Small, repeated, automatic expenses that never get reviewed. Sit down once every few months, go through every recurring charge, and ask yourself honestly, am I actually using this? You'll probably cancel more than you expect. Habit 10. Not negotiating salary, bills, or rates. Here's something most people never do. Ask for a better deal. On their salary, on their internet bill, on their credit card interest rate, on their insurance. And it's not because it doesn't work. Research from Carnegie Mellon University found that people who negotiate their starting salary earn significantly more over the course of their career, simply because that first number compounds. Every raise, every future job offer, it's based on where you started. But most people don't ask because it feels uncomfortable, because they don't want to seem difficult, because they assume the answer will be no. Here's the truth. The worst they can say is no, and you're no worse off than before. But if they say yes, that one conversation could be worth thousands over time.
Habit 11. Buying things to feel better. It's been a rough week. You're tired, stressed, and something about clicking buy now just helps for a moment. This is called retail therapy, and it's more common and more studied than most people realize. Research published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that unplanned purchases are significantly more likely when people feel a sense of loss of control in their lives. In other words, the more stressed or uncertain we feel, the more our brain looks for something we can control, and buying something feels like control. But the relief is temporary, the expense is permanent, and the habit builds over time. Before you make a stress-driven purchase, try this. Name what you're actually feeling. Stressed? Lonely? Bored? Anxious? That feeling needs attention, not a package at your door. Habit 12, ignoring your credit score. Your credit score is quiet. It doesn't send you alerts, it doesn't remind you it exists, but it affects you constantly. The interest rate on your mortgage, your car loan, sometimes even whether you get approved for an apartment. A good credit score, above 750, can save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. A bad one costs you that same amount without you even noticing, because the higher interest rate on your loan just becomes normal. Check your credit score regularly. Understand what affects it. Pay on time, keep utilization low, don't open too many accounts at once. These are simple habits, but people who build wealth tend to treat their credit score like a real asset, because it is. Habit 13, having money conversations you keep avoiding. Nobody wants to talk about money. It feels personal, uncomfortable, awkward. But the conversations you avoid tend to cost you. Not understanding your employee benefits fully, not asking how much something costs before committing, not talking to a partner about shared financial goals, not asking someone more experienced for advice. Silence around money doesn't protect you. It just keeps you in the dark. Behavioral researchers call this financial avoidance, a pattern where people actively avoid engaging with their finances because it triggers anxiety or discomfort. But here's the irony. The more you avoid it, the worse it gets. And the worse it gets, the more you avoid it. The most financially successful people talk about money openly and often because information is always better than guessing. Habit 14, no clear financial goal. Here's a question. What exactly are you building toward? Not a vague answer like financial freedom or being rich, a specific one. By what age? How much exactly? For what purpose? Without a clear target, your brain doesn't know what to optimize for, and without a destination, every spending decision is equally justifiable. Why not buy this? I don't have a specific reason not to. This connects to something in psychology called goal gradient theory. The closer and clearer a goal is, the more motivated and consistent we become in pursuing it. Vague goals produce vague effort. Specific goals produce specific action. Write it down. A number, a date, a reason, and your financial decisions will start making more sense, almost automatically. Habit 15, waiting to learn about money. And the last one, maybe the most important. Most people treat financial education like something they'll get to eventually, when they're older, when they have more money, when it feels more relevant. But financial literacy is a skill. And like any skill, the earlier you build it, the more it compounds. The way you think about money today affects every single decision you make with it. And most of us were never actually taught this stuff. Not in school, not at home. We picked it up by accident, through mistakes, through trial and error, through stumbling into the right information at the right time. The good news, it's never too late to start learning. And the gap between people who build wealth and people who don't is rarely income. It's knowledge, and decisions made from that knowledge. So there they are, 15 habits. Some you probably recognized in yourself, maybe a few you hadn't thought about before. And here's the thing. None of these are about willpower or being bad with money. They're patterns, and patterns can be changed, not all at once. You don't need to fix all 15 tomorrow. Pick one, just one that felt the most familiar. Work on that one first, because small, consistent shifts build real, lasting wealth over time. And if this video helped you see something a little differently, don't forget to subscribe.
I'll see you in the next video.